Hey guys, I wanted to bring you another YouTube video about the 49ers. And one of the things that I've been seeing around is that some fans are asking for Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch to be fired if they don't turn this around, especially after what happened with the Arizona Cardinals game. So I'm going to say yes, I do partially agree at first until I did some research and thought more about it on why I think we may want to keep him a little bit longer, or both a little bit longer, or at least Kyle Shanahan. Yes, he has lost two Super Bowls. Really, that was blamed on him. Yes, he has actually right now three losing records, or through losing seasons, and only one great season where he got into the playoffs and went to that Super Bowl where they could have won the Super Bowl. Uh, and unlike Jim Harbaugh, he got the extension and was able to get along with the owners and stuff. So now the question is, like I said, 2017, his first year, 6-10. 2018, 4-12. 2019 seems forever or so long ago. 13-3, getting into the Super Bowl and was 7 minutes away from winning that Super Bowl. 2020 was really bad because of COVID and then also so many injuries. 6-10. 2021, 3-5. Now these last two seasons has been a lot of injuries, so that's what they've been blaming. Now I don't know if the previous 3 years or if it's been the same medical staff. That's where I would start looking at first to see if they should let go and clean house with the medical staff and start new there. Because his current record for the regular season 32-40, so that means he's a coach that wins only 44.4% of the time right now. So not even 50%. So that's where I think some of the media and some people and fans have issues where he's living off his dad's last name, because if he was any other coach, he would have been fired already because of his record. Um, and also, like I said, it was critical, I guess you would say, because people were wondering, man, he hasn't done anything in his first 2 years with the Niners as a head coach, and then third year he makes it to the Super Bowl and almost wins it, but then yet they weren't sure if they were going to want to give him an extension. But then 2020, he finished 6-10, and that's where they gave him extension for 6 years. So that's could be an issue. That's what I thought, because that keeps him until 2025. John Lynch, he got 5 years, so that's going to keep him until 2024. Now, I I think John Lynch draft record is hit or miss. He hit some nice runs with George Kittle for sure, Debo Samuel, but there are some miss. So that could be another separate video on how John Lynch missed on some draft picks. Um, and so and that could be comparable to Mayock from the Raiders, because they both have TV backgrounds before they became a GM, which they didn't have GM experience or front office experience before. Now, the other thing you have to realize, the Niners, if they did get rid of Kyle Shanahan, you got to think about the dollars and the money that the owner will have to fork up potentially. It if he got fired this year, each season, and it's really hard to find how much he makes per year, but he is, from what I've seen, looks like he's the top eight highest paid coaches right now. So it would leave 4 years left for the contract, and so he's reportedly making $10 to $12 million per year. So that would mean he would probably be owed close to $40 to $48 million. So that's a big price. So I don't know if the owners will want to give that up. Now, John Lynch, he only has 3 years left. So, and with his draft record and who's he's been able to draft, I would say he would probably be first to be let go if they had to. and he has only 1 year less. So what I could see, to be honest, is maybe they could get rid of John Lynch, and because they always Jet York always said there he wants after the whole Jim Harbaugh situation, he wants a GM and a head coach to be able to be together, so where they see eye and eye together. So I just don't see them, which was really puzzling when they did the contract. That if they're going to want to keep everything together, why did they give John Lynch 1 less year? So that was another odd thing. So at this point, I would say because they made a big investment on drafting Trey Lance. Pretty much, I would say if Trey Lance does not develop, and like I said, that's because I do also sports cards collecting, and that's why I also believed in Kyle Shanahan because of what he did with RG3, Matt Ryan, like all these different quarterbacks. Like he put, he had those quarterbacks with some good stats and winning records too. So that should be saying something. If Trey Lance is not playing more this season, that could be especially if the Niners are mathematically out of this playoff hunt, they have to play him. They have to give him as much reps and take his bumps and licks and all that. Um, like I said, you could see if a quarterback is starting to develop and learn uh, to be the next franchise quarterback. That's where I don't think we've seen Justin Fields against the Steelers. You could see his progression is coming along. So I think he if Justin Fields or sorry Trey Lance was starting to develop like Justin Fields, I would be happy because of his progression. Because quarterbacks are going to take their licks, especially rookies. Trevor Lawrence hasn't had that big game yet or big stat. Like I said, I've seen Justin Fields had a great game against the Niners, um, and then same against the Steelers. So there are some great things I could see. Zach Wilson, I made a video about him. I think he could potentially be bust. I even predicted that during the draft. So I have had one comment that he's only played 6 games. Yes, but the eye test also tells you also, and especially with all these rookie contracts, and you can see who's developing well and not. Like you can see Mac Jones, he's definitely right in that system. So, um, I like I said, my second guess was I thought Justin Fields was going to be the bust behind Zach Wilson. At this point, I might be wrong with Justin Fields, and he's playing pretty well. Um, so right now, Trevor Lawrence doesn't look good, but like I said, he could be where he's the Peyton Manning or Troy Aikman, where they threw a lot of interceptions their first year, got out of the system, had to learn it, and also probably bring in better draft picks or better players at this point for him to help develop. But like I said, Kyle Shanahan should be able to develop Trey Lance if they really believed him, gave up all those draft picks. That's why I said if they have to get rid of John Lynch sooner, it's okay because they gave up the first round picks for next year and 2023, I believe. So you're saying his final year of the contract, 2024, he's going to be the GM. So that's why I'm saying if they have to let anyone go, I would say John Lynch should be first because of the money that he's owed. It's not too bad. It's from what I could find, might be around $3.5 million, and there's not as many years left. So that way they could give him another draft or two, and then let him go early if they have another year or two that's pretty bad. But mathematically, and looking at the rest of the schedule, and so right now, the Cardinals would be representing the West if the playoffs started today. Green Bay would be number 2. Tampa Bay would be number 3. Dallas is number 4, and then Rams, New Orleans, and Atlanta would be the wild card. Now it is pretty jumbled up right now. I was surprised Atlanta's won that many games. So right now, Carolina's had a nice hot start, and they're trending the wrong way. The Vikings is number 9, Seattle. So then all these teams from the 9, let's see, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 9 through 14 all have 3 wins. So mathematically, they're not out of the playoffs yet. Again, you have 17 games. So we are almost halfway. We're a little bit halfway. Um, these teams could get, like I said, New Orleans and Atlanta, I could see them falling out right now. So that kind of leaves 2 open spots, I believe. Carolina, I don't believe in right now, the way they're playing. New Orleans, they can, I think. I don't think Atlanta could keep up what they're doing. Um, New Orleans might because of their defense, but the quarterback play, if they had Jameis Winston, which is surprising, I'm saying this, but I think they would have made it to the playoffs. And but when I had my preseason picks, I didn't think so. Um, with the Vikings, I think they have a shot to take one of those last 2 spots. Seattle, I think they have one of those legitimate shots. I think the Niners do. I right now have them between 9. Anywhere I could see worst case right now, 8 to 10 wins. I think 10 wins is enough to get you in. 9 might be, but that's might be the 7th spot. But that's really pushing it in if you get lucky with the tiebreaker. That's where that loss against Green Bay hurts, and then that loss against the Cardinals. That's why a lot of fans were really upset losing against the B team of the Cardinals. There was no DeAndre Hopkins or Kyler Murray. Come on, dude. You gotta be able to close those or win those games. So the Niners haven't had really that big signature win yet. Um, but they own the tiebreaker, so they beat the Eagles, the Bears. So and they are part of the teams that fighting those spots too. The things that turned the Eagles, Giants, and the Bears that are below the Niners, they already have 6 losses, so that kind of hurts them. The other loss that kind of hurts if there is a tiebreaker is the one that they lost to Seattle. But they do get to play Seattle again. In Seattle, the Rams game, I'm hoping they split one or win both of them somehow. So that Cardinals game could be the one that hurt the most. But like I said, I would like to see Trey Lance as soon as possible if he is healthy. If the Niners are mathematically out of the playoff spot, I want to just because if Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch believed in him and used that much draft capital, let this regime at least get a year or 2 with Trey Lance and see how that turns out. Because, like I said, if you're going to draft and move all the way up there, we want to see what you could do. I mean, like I said, if you really believed in this kid, we're wanting to see you give you that year or 2 to see if you're right. And if you do, that takes you to the next contract extension potentially. So, um, but if you get that extension, honestly, if to Jet York, I would say don't do a long extension like this 6 years for Kyle Shanahan, 5 years for John Lynch. I would do 4 years maybe at most. Because you don't want a John Gruden situation or just like this season situation. You never know. You don't want to give really long term because that's where I feel like some head coaches and GM takes bigger risk than they need to, and that's where I think that risk for Trey Lance could have hurt because when I was looking at where the Niners would have drafted, they could have got Micah Parsons. They could have got even Mac Jones if they wanted him instead. He would have slid down to the Niners, and that would have been a safer bet in that case. And then you would have had uh, your draft pick for 2022, 23, and then your third rounder. So that's where you could have helped Mac Jones in that sense. That's what I'm saying. Trey Lance needs to pan out. That's because right now the future is kind of hanging for Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch on this kid at this point. So Go. What do you guys think? Do you think I'm wrong saying that Kyle Shanahan should stick around a little bit more to help develop Trey Lance and see if he deserves another contract? Because I know that his record stinks, um, but you don't want the next regime to like start all over, and then you can't really start over because the only way you can start over is you have to really hit the draft on the low picks that you have, or you have to be able to find good signings. So at this point, I would say let's ride the wave with these two guys of the front office and Trey Lance, whether he gets his reps this season or the following season. But we'll definitely find out next season if these two guys are going to be around because they don't have much time after that. So go ahead and hit that like button if you like the video and agree with me. And subscribe to our channel if you haven't done so already. I do appreciate if you do stick through this whole video. And then again, together we can build better tomorrow. Thanks again.